I'm doing the jailhouse rock. Okay. All right. Yo, what is up, guys? Undead Nerd here, and it's 11:41 at night where I live right now, and I just thought maybe I could do a stream because I actually wanted to make this a stream a couple days ago, but I just never got the chance. But since my stupid ass likes to stay up late, let's get on with it. All right, so first I want to talk about, because it's gonna take shorter, the Rambo prequel in the works. So First Blood, one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, it's depressing, but it's got good action. It's a very unique kind of action movie. Like Rambo, John Rambo is a great character. Brian Dennehy, rest in peace. His character is like, it's definitely a unique villain for an action movie, because usually action movie villains have like a big plan to like destroy or kidnap or something. Like this guy is just a random civilian who just was an asshole, you know. So we're getting a Rambo prequel, which I'm a little bit mixed on all these sequels, remakes, prequels based off old beloved movies. On one hand, I think they could be necessary in order to keep things relevant. Don't mind my cat, she's meowing. And on the other hand, it's just lazy, you know, like let word of mouth have people discover these old movies for themselves. Like, what especially pisses me off are all the sequels being made years and years and years later. Alright, we get Top Gun Maverick 30 years later, which is a good movie, don't get me wrong. We get Beetlejuice 2 bajillion years later. And now we're getting another fucking Goonies movie, you know? It's like, these actors are old. A lot of them are dying off. Yeah. You're lucky a good portion of them are still alive, Hollywood. But yeah, this Rambo prequel, I think it's going to be an action movie that takes place in Vietnam. Maybe at the final end of the movie, they're going to show like how he was discriminated against when he came home. You know, so yeah, I can't wait to see where they take this. I can't wait who they're going to cast as Rambo. Stallone says he wants Ryan Gosling, which is terrible choice for Rambo. Alright, you need a Stallone look-alike, because, like, a Stallone character is nothing without the lip, deformity. But, yeah. But yeah, First Blood, top 10 favorite movies for me. You know, it's a good character study, it's a good action movie. It's a good tearjerker movie. First Blood Part 2 would have been a perfect sequel, but they got rid of the whole PTSD thing. Alright, there's a great speech at the end, there's great cinematography, there's great action. Martin Clove I liked in the movie, but you look at the first movie and why he's at the prison at the very first act, and you go, let's not bring back the PTSD storyline. Like, he doesn't even question going back to Vietnam. Like, he doesn't get flashbacks of all the things. Like that would be great for his character. Like, if they explored that in Rambo 2. I still haven't seen Rambo 3. I still haven't seen Rambo from 2008. And I still have not seen, Last Blood. Because around 2019, I wasn't the action buff that I am now. So yeah, I wasn't rushing to go see it, but I was aware of the character. Seriously, Stallone, just a great dude, a great actor, you know. Alright, now that I'm done with that subject, let's get to the chat. Let's see if anyone's in the chat. Nope. Alright, so I guess now... Okay, first off, I need to clarify this real quick. I'm not talking about the Superman trailer. All I could say is, I think it looks good. Just remove the recent plot rumor that sounds like shit. But Ironheart, that definitely looks awful. Get take a lap, Ray Ray! You know, the fucking rap song, because Hollywood executives are fucking racist. But, alright. Let's go over to the leaked casting of the X-Men. Now, the moment I heard... Okay, this is coming from, Jeff Snyder, from, Twink Rocha's... I call him Twink Rocha because he's an idiot. From John Rocha's podcast, The Hot Mic, and, we are getting the original 5. This is what I'm suggesting Marvel has been doing, and I'm kind of pissed because the original plan for the original X-Men movie all the way back in 2000 was to have Wolverine team up with the original 5 and then they fight a lot of iconic villains. And I'm very pissed off that they didn't went with that. Not that the original X-Men movie was bad, it's just that compared to the comics, it could have been a much better adaptation, but it is still a good movie regardless. But I'm not that big of a fan of X2. You know, I've already gave my reasons. It's not a bad movie. I think it's far from bad, but it's okay. It's good. It's good. It's more on the good side of okay, you know. But X2, I do not think that's a good adaptation. I think if you're a comic fan, you're gonna get a little bit on the Fox movies. But alright, so the rumored original 5 X-Men, and I'm glad that they're doing the original 5 X-Men, I forgot to mention this, because, like, if the Fox movies didn't do an adaptation of that prior, then this is your chance to do it now, you know, for people like me to see it in my lifetime, for a lot of older comic fans who were there when the first issue premiered, or were there when, you know, those first ever issues were still 10 years old to see it in their lifetimes. You know, like, that's a perfect idea. All right. You guys ready? So, the cast. All right, from Up and Down, from a tweet from Yasul Phoenix Updates Trident Emoji on Twitter, Nicholas Galatizine is going to play Angel, and he's also going to play He-Man in the He-Man live action movie coming out next year. And I'm kind of excited for that. You know, I think the set photos look good, you know. And yeah, I think he's good casting if he's gonna play a buff He-Man, because, like, Angel has always been, like, the good looks kind of character. Drew Starkey as Iceman. Now, this one kind of concerns me a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, Drew Starkey, okay, I have not seen a single movie with Drew Starkey in it, but, let me check the chat. However, what does make me concerned is, go back, holy crap, I have so many tabs on my phone. I'm looking at this through my phone, in case you're wondering. Okay, so Drew Starkey was the main character in the last movie, Queer. So, however, I wouldn't say get your concerns yet. And okay, let me share the problem with gay Iceman in the comics. Well, first off, he wasn't gay from the start. And second of all, him being gay was his #1 defining trait in the comics for like 10 years now. And it's gotten so insufferable. Like, they made him a twink, they made him wear a dress, they made him, like, fuck every dude each standalone issue he had. Like, a different dude. And you want to know what his main boyfriend's name is? Alright, you want to know? Romeo. His boyfriend's name is Romeo. I mean, I could see if North Star's boyfriend was called that, but that just shows you that the writers knew that he wasn't gay previously, and they just want to gay him up. Literally. And even if he wasn't a twink or a pandering-like character, well, it's still pandering, I wouldn't say Adam Lambert gay, but more Harry Styles gay. Alright, you know, the way you see him dressed nowadays. I fucking hate that dude, but yeah, and the reason why I say be optimistic on Iceman's casting here is because from what I've seen on all these others, it looks like he's played a couple of hetero roles before. I need to watch that show, The Terminal List, because it says he was in it. If you see Love, Simon, don't worry, he's not the main character in that. So yeah, I really hope they didn't cast him because they're gonna make him gay in this movie, and what's especially more insulting is that he played a gay role before. Which, that's not the perfect way to cast, in my opinion. Iceman is top 3 favorite X-Men for me. Alright? And better yet, don't give him fucking hair. Because I hated when the comics give him hair. I know it's been done for like 20 years now, but it was stupid back then and it's stupid now. But I will say, the one modern thing about Iceman that I liked was his black and red shirt. Like, that wasn't bad. You know, that wasn't bad on Iceman. But yeah, please make Iceman hetero again. And I even think there's a possibility of that, because if we're getting an all-white original 5 X-Men, like this rumor says, you know, I think it's possible. Like, if Marvel's getting rid of the woke, I think it's possible. But because of the casting of Drew Starkey, who wasn't queer, I'd say there's still a huge chance that it could happen. Like, it's gonna be a 50-50 here, so keep an eye out for any rumors. And yeah, and trust me, all those activists you see on Twitter who like to say Iceman's a gay icon. He's not a gay icon. He's a retcon. You don't like this character because because, you know, you read the 60s comics like I did. You don't like this character because you read his 4-issue standalone series from the 80s like I did. You know, you didn't read Champions like I did. You didn't read when he joined the Defenders like I did. You only like him because the media retconned him as gay, all right? So yeah, I'd say for right now, calm your tits on this Iceman casting and just wait till we get to the rumors. This is a nobody right here. Daisy Edgar Jones as Jean Grey, who was in Twisters. I still haven't seen Twisters. Everything else I've seen her in looks like she's a nobody. But apparently people did want her for a character. So yeah, she must have been in something that had a cult following and I just didn't follow it. But this is what excites me the most. And I think you know why. Now look, I have not seen him in anything, just the man he's related to is what gets me excited. Patrick Schwarzenegger as Cyclops. That's right, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. I did research to clarify that. Arnold Schwarzenegger's son as Cyclops. Perfect. Someone from the Schwarzenegger bloodline. Perfect. Perfect casting right there. And I don't know if he has the accent in real life, because, well, he was probably born here in America. But give Cyclops the fucking accent. I don't care. I will not see this movie if you give Cyclops the accent. But, yeah. And finally, this guy is probably the biggest name out of everyone here, aside from Patrick Schwarzenegger, who, you know, the son of Arnie. Logan Lerman, who previously played Percy Jackson. I still have not seen those movies. I've read the book, but that was a long, long time ago when I was in elementary school and, you know, we were told we should watch the movie after we're done reading the book. And that was the only time my parents really made reading a book a requirement for, to watch a movie. So that's probably why I never got around. And apparently those movies aren't really that good because, like, they don't really follow the books that much. Apparently the show is more accurate, but I don't know. I don't care. But I do know those books do have a massive following. So yeah. What else has he been in? I'm gonna go back to the slide I have him on. I didn't know he was in Bullet Train, but he played a short role. The Patriot with Mel Gibson. Okay, so he was probably very young around that time. Hoot? Never heard of that movie. It's probably another fucking kids movie. So many other one-off movies that I never even seen or heard of. Oh, he was in Noah with Russell Crowe? I have not seen that in a long time. Sergeant Stubby in American Hero, so he probably did a voice in that. I think Saberspark reviewed that before he fell off. Now, I should clarify, I'm not saying he fell off as in the recent allegations, because I know that guy has been in some hot water recently, which I do side with him on, but he kind of got a little bit lefty into his videos, you know, like, so yeah, that's what I've been trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. However, while I do think the cast they have for the original 5 is good, there's controversy for everything. And that is Black Charles Xavier and Black Magneto. This is a stupid idea. Now, I know there's gonna be some defenders who go, oh, but X-Men is a civil rights allegory. Well, if it's a civil rights allegory, you know, why don't you race swap them to Indian? Because around the time the 60s Black Civil Rights Movement was going on, there was also a Native American civil rights movement that was similar to that going on. I learned that in high school. Kind of funny that these people who like to grift off of race don't know about that specific event. You know, you make them gay, you make them North Korean citizens, you make them a Disney employee, you make them a child, you make both of them kids working in Hollywood, you change them into anything that checks off an oppression tick box, alright? Or I don't know, because I don't believe Hollywood's a giant pedophile ring, I'm sorry folks, but yeah, there is a good portion of them working there, so... I don't know. I was gonna do a joke saying Nambla, but that'd be too far. But because the South Park episode they tried doing, and those freaks still do it to this day. I don't want to derail it because it's just gonna get scary. But whew, man, I talk too much. I talk too much during the day too. So yeah. And look, I like Denzel Washington, who is supposedly who they have eyed for Magneto. But again, he's not Magneto. And look, I could see the argument people are coming with the whole Holocaust thing, because we're getting farther and farther away now. Like George Takei, who was 4 when he was in the Japanese camps during World War II in America, he's like 87 years old. And yeah, you could do a little retcon that, like, you can have this movie take place in an alternate universe, just like the Fantastic Four. You can retcon the mutants live longer because of their one power. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, I could see the argument coming with the whole Holocaust thing. But yes, but here's the thing. So a lot of people like to say X-Men is a civil rights allegory, which was popular about the X-Men later on. That's not how they started. I've read the first few issues. The humans came into them with open arms. In fact, it could be a civil rights allegory, the very first issue, because I've read it. It could be an allegory for how mutants could hate humans because of they have more power than humans. They are stronger than humans in every way, and that's what I think X-Men should be, because it shouldn't be just a one-sided race issue, because it'll be all preachy and everyone would be like, yeah, I know it's a real issue, but I don't want to be lectured about that. You need to do something creative in order to fight me in. And that's kind of been my problem with the X-Men comics. Like, I love X-Men, but there were times in the comics where I did go, oh my god, you've done this story millions of times. We all know what it's about, and I wouldn't say it got preachy, but it's been overdone. Alright, but there were times in the comics where they did make it unique. It's like, okay, look, I know exactly what you're commentating on. I don't need to be told about it for the umpteenth time. Alright, go back to superheroing. Alright, do it every 20 issues? 20 issues? Make a big story arc about it every 20 issues? But yeah. And that's kind of why I call it the Banshee era. Not Claremont's era, but the Banshee era. During Claremont's run. I call it the Banshee era because it's easier to describe, because he left the team during the Dark Phoenix storyline. But, like they were equally focused on superhero porn there too. And I'm not saying they can't do the whole prejudice allegory thing, because again, that's what made the X-Men recognizable, even to normies, and it could be a good metaphor. And clearly, people who say, oh, Charles and Magneto should be black because it's a civil rights metaphor, here's my argument, alright? A metaphor is something where it's not exactly the thing, but you know exactly what it's meant to symbolize. Like, for example, Pleasantville with Tobey Maguire and Paul Walker. It's a movie where, spoiler alert, I should have put a spoiler warning when I talked about Rambo earlier. Tobey Maguire and his sister in the movie go to a sitcom world, and everyone in that sitcom world turns into color, alright, when everyone's black and white. And all the people who are still black and white are trying to persecute the colored white people. I swear, I remember that movie. They're all white. And, like, it was meant to symbolize change, and the people who were advocating for legislating would later become colored later on. It's fucking great writing. It's a good metaphor. You didn't need anyone to be black to do it. You needed the story, you needed the metaphor. And also that's what makes, a lot of people like Zootopia, Oh, I think that movie does have a good metaphor. It's able to be fun first and have a good metaphor on prejudice or something. It's something anyone can, interpret how they do it. It could be based off your personal politics, or it could be based off what you think is truth, Oh, and that's what makes Zootopia such a good movie. Mike is gonna be shitting his pants because I mentioned Zootopia, but I'm sorry, my cat was doing something weird. So I looked back up. But yeah, however, there was a rumor, and keep in mind, My Time to Shine Hello, I think is sometimes reliable, but also sometimes a troll. Like, she was the one who brought up, I heard, it's a she, My Time to Shine Hello. She was the one who brought up the female thing rumor, which that would have been a bigger mistake. Again, don't be surprised if they pull off Gay Iceman, which was a thing that was retconned like 10 years ago now. I can't believe we're on the 10-year anniversary of that. Don't be surprised if they do that and Black Magneto and Charles, because this is the same people who signed off on Female Silver Surfer. And again, apparently that wasn't Kevin Feige's decision, according to rumors. That was apparently an upper head at Disney who wanted that, which, fire every blue-haired fat lesbian at the company. I'm just, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just saying, I'm saying fire any stereotypical depiction of an SJW. But okay, Daniel Day-Lewis. I think I've seen him in some stuff. Magneto. So this is a different source. My Time to Shine. Hello. And what also makes me think this person's a troll is, she was reporting Hunter Schafer as Mystique, and I don't want to get into that. I just talked about the whole Magneto and Charles thing. I don't want to go into why Mystique isn't trans. Oh, you go look for other people to that, or maybe I'll do a separate stream. I don't know, but yeah, that's why I think it's a troll rumor. But yeah, I'm not saying. All right, when I say I hear Daniel Day-Lewis as Magneto, all right, I'm not saying okay, I'm gonna believe this part of Just Snyder's story, and I'm gonna believe this part of My Time to Shine Hello story too. I'm not gonna do that. All right. That is completely unfair. All right, and which one do I believe more? Personally, I believe out of both rumors from people, I believe Jeff Snyder's so far. Yeah, My Time to Shine Hello has been credible at some points, but it's like, I don't know, folks. Yeah, she's a troll, all right? My Time to Shine Hello is a troll. Okay? But yeah. Whew. All I do is talk, talk, talk in my life. I never get any peace. I'm tortured, folks. I'm tortured. Wake me up inside. So, since that The Last of Us 2 is going on, I'm like, since this season looks really bad, I didn't actually watch the thing. I watched the clips on YouTube. I did watch the entirety of the first season, and it was a decent enough adaptation, except for the Bill storyline. They just completely threw that out the window. But yeah, I decided to play the first game again. And yeah, one of my all-time favorite games, because, I love the characters, I love the themes, I love the mythos behind the zombies. I don't even think that's enough that the fandom of that game talks about. But yeah, what else is being planned over in the world of entertainment? Oh yeah, Epic Universe opens next week. That's gonna be exciting. Mission Impossible coming out. I'm looking forward to it. And we're at the end of an era with Mission Impossible. They're gonna make another movie in the future. They're gonna do like a reboot or something. But since this is the final reckoning, this franchise has gone on all my life. Like, I think 3 came out. Let me look up when Mission Impossible 3 came out. I have so many start pages. I do not know what. Hold on a second. Yes, 2006, the same year I was born. Uh, So yeah, this franchise has not only been going on all my life, like it's not like Transformers in the MCU where it started when I was a baby, but it's more of it's been going on for like almost 30 years now, and I think it's definitely time for a curtain call, and I definitely hope they nail it with this final Mission Impossible because I really liked Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's such a shame that movie wasn't too big at the box office. Part of me tells me this movie's gonna do better than Dead Reckoning Part 1. But another part of me says it's gonna do similar, but also kind of better. But hey, please do better. But yeah. The more I think about it, maybe to end off the stream, instead of doing those retarded goodbyes, I'm thinking, I should give a little sneak peek into something. I think it's about time I need to start taking some more vitamin C. I don't know, I feel my throat getting stuffy. What happened? Technical error, folks. Alright, there we go. Okay, but that wasn't what I was trying to show you. I'm actually trying to show you, a little something, a little behind the scenes of something I had in the works for a very long time now. Like 2 years. This summer's gonna mark 2 years since I started production on this thing. Luke's gonna get pissed now. Since I mentioned Luke, I might as well show you this. But first... At first, I'm gonna wait for this to load. I don't want to show you what else I'm gonna be editing. I could be editing porn, that's why I don't want to show you. Loading, 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 loading. I don't know, I've been doing that tongue thing a lot. I just think it's fun, just rolling it like that. But is there anything else I want to talk about? Don't tell me I have to close this fucking tab. Okay. Okay, so all I gotta do is open window capture. And... Ho ho ho! What could this be? What are all these fireball sound effects? Okay, we got a little... Okay, we got a little sneak peek. I was trying to make sure I actually had the camera on. Say, Reed, that looks fun. How about letting me try it? I don't want to spoil any of the other voice actors' lines, so I'm gonna go to whenever I run my stupid little mouth. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is right here. Actually, fuck it. I'm just gonna show you. Alright, the SML reactor himself doing Namor's voice lines. Alright.
I cannot endure this loneliness much longer. A prince must have a bride to share his throne. My people have fled from me. Only a few faithful warriors remain.
Don't worry, I'll fix this in editing.
Yet, if I could have the surface girl I love at my side, nothing else would matter. For, with Sue Storm as my princess, I would find my people, restore the glory of my undersea empire.
To quote the Thing, yes, the SML, the guy who used to do SML is voicing Namor. And, oh my god. This is the first ever editing I'm ever showing to the public, alright? Everything else, nah, you're gonna have to wait. But, yeah, trust me, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be fucking worth it, people. Alright, I actually have a lot of editing plans. It's not gonna be as edited as some of the comic dubs that I do on my cringe compilation series, but, yeah, it's gonna be far lesser in quality. I'm gonna warn you that, but it's still gonna be decent quality, alright? Yeah, I'm a one-man band when it comes to this editing. Alright. And until next time... Hey, what's going on? Holy smokes, it's a Submariner! Please don't tell me I have to... Holy smokes! It's the Submariner!
The torch! Good. I might as well put you out of action too!
Woo! And don't worry, I'm gonna get rid of that mouse there. Alrighty.